welcome in to Innovative Strategies with Bill Haase. This is your show that's all about business, finance, literacy, smart stuff. Bill is the smart guy. And today we are talking about serving is better than selling.
Or being a servant as a selling prospect, as a selling tool. As a business leadership tool, as not even a leadership anywhere. Having a servant's mindset is something that has been taught to me recently, and over the past year, but more so over the past couple of months, and even more so in the last couple of weeks when I met our guest today, and I learned that there's actually a whole world of people out there who are extremely successful, and primarily that way due to their being servants.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring I had the distinct privilege and honor of being on Steve Ramona's podcast this past Wednesday. We did the recording. I'm not sure when it goes live, but and I'm just thrilled to death to have him here today. Steve from San Jose, California. Welcome in to Innovative Strategies.
Bill, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on the show.
This is awesome.
Well, hold on. Let's give him some props. To tell us the name of your podcast and where we can find it, bro.
Great. Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the different platforms. I also have a YouTube channel. I can't say that, but I think, Bill, you could share it. I'm excited. I've done over 100 shows in probably the last 4 months. I do about 25 shows a month. I really want to get this message out of doing business with a servant's heart.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll get that out there. We'll get that across the screen as well to check it out. And I highly recommend you take a peek at this because it's really good stuff. The conversations I've had with Steve are just, I walk away so inspired. And that's the point, I believe, of doing business with a servant's heart.
Exactly. Inspiration. My podcast is inspiration, motivation, and education. I try to hit all those 3 points. We did it with your show, and I want to thank you for being a guest. I've had some great comments from people hearing from you. If we could change our own little worlds and start serving personally and professionally, I think the world will change. We can't change the world. Like they say that elephant phrase, take a piece of the elephant a little bit at a time. That's what I'm trying to do, and bringing you into my network and the growth of my network, like you said earlier, Bill, of people I'm connecting you with and I'm connecting with, building the servant mentality. I just heard some stories of people giving millions of dollars away, just giving it away and finding out they got that money back faster than when they earned it. Millions, not hundreds, not dollars.
Millions. And this is the beauty of I mean, since I've met you, I've become more and more inspired. And that what I'm building as well, that we're trying to inspire the youth. We call the young entrepreneurs, or future entrepreneurs, we'll call them. And we're trying to teach and then inspire these young folks, so they have the opportunities to make, better decisions and live better lives, lead better lives. But, and that's really what kind of a servant's heart is all about, right? Helping those around you. We're in a world now where maybe there's a lot of division going on, and primarily, and well, it's all over the world, but big time in this country right now. And it is such a breath of fresh air to meet someone and to learn that there are many more people out there that are leading with a servant's heart. So tell us a little bit more about that, Steve. What is it to lead with a?
Well, you're an example. I'm going to talk about the conference and being a legacy. You are taking I call it the ground floor of our culture, those young people. We, as in our 60s, I'll say it out there, can help build that. And that's my goal too, is to have young people on my show to learn doing business with a servant's heart. It's something I've learned way back in my day. We used to own health clubs, and I worked at a front desk at 18 years old, and there are 40, 50, 60-year-olds walking in every day working out. So guess what? I'm building a network. I'm building a relationship. Hey, Bill, good to see you. Hey, Bill, have a great day. Hey, Bill, have a great workout. And it was amazing how much came back to me from these people as I built the relationship. Hey, kid, one guy called me kid. He's a financial advisor with millions of people, millions of dollars in his portfolio. And he would go, I got an idea for you. I want you to read The Wealthy Barber. And you probably heard of it, Bill.
Yep.
And I read it, started following the 10% of my income in some account. And 10 years later, I looked at my account, I had $58,000 in there from 20 to 30. I thought he was a multimillionaire, 58,000 in the 80s, right? So I called him and it was interesting. I said, hey, let me take care of you. He says, no. You listened. 90% of my clients don't listen to my advice because they have so much money. Your gift to me was you listened, you followed through, and you did it. Yeah. That's where servant's heart comes in. We give people these tools and give it to them and let them grow, and they give it to somebody else. And of course, we pay. They hope they pay it forward as well.
Right, you're right, and that's great point. It's kind of what it's all about. I mean, the people that you've introduced me to, everyone I've spoken with, the only thing I've ever heard from them is what do you need? What can I do for you? And I'm sitting here going, boy, I'm blessed because I'm not. The only thing I really need or look for nowadays is guests on my show, high quality guests that bring something
and a happy wife
and a happy. Well,
let's be honest.
There's a very good chance. Well, there's a very slim chance my wife might be watching and listening.
I know mine never does.
I don't think she's ever heard the show, and it's been 3 years now. I don't think she's ever seen it.
A prophet is not a prophet. Right?
Family don't believe.
That's
but
right.
Close friends,
That's right.
I'm sure I think there's probably my buddy Gene Carr out there. He'll probably be listening, and maybe my friends that are driving up from Southern Illinois to come visit this weekend.
Nice.
Looking forward to that. But it's just it's the same thing with everybody you introduced to me. What can I do for you? They're not looking for anything. They're not asking for anything. It's not about, what's your business? What do you sell? What are you building? What's your product? What's your service? No, it's like, hey, how you doing? What can I do for you?
Yeah.
And these people are so well connected that, there's almost nothing that they can't do for you.
Yeah, and I love that. Yeah. And guys, that feels really, really wonderful. Okay. However, I've got a mortgage to pay or rent. I've got a car payment, and doing all that feel good stuff is wonderful, but does it earn me a paycheck?
Mindset. You're talking about worrying about things that you have limited control over, right? Yeah. If you own a house, you have a mortgage, typically.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, and then you got to pay insurance. And, like I think I said on the show a couple of weeks ago, I woke up one day, I'm looking down my driveway and I go, how did I get here? I got this house. I got 2 cars in the driveway. I never dreamed of that. I got 2 kids running around inside the house. And when did this happen? But it's a mindset and there's a shift. That's just part of life. Right. And we have to deal with so many different parts of life, but the mindset in which you choose, because it's choice, and how to deal with it. When you make this shift that I have recently made, it's an incredible world.
Yeah.
It's an incredible feeling. It's exhilarating. Is one of the words I guess I could put to it. But Steve, for you.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and that's a great question, Kent. Great thought that people have. Faith, what comes to my head when you said that, Kent. Having faith is a big part of this. And if you don't have it, let's work on that mindset, Bill, you're talking about. And a quick story, I just met a guy this week, Mike, who's amazing because he moved from Philadelphia to South Carolina, knew nobody, but because he built relationships with this giving. And in his website, he says, I've given thousands to people. That's how I build my business. I know it's unusual for a business to say that, but we have. And he's grown massively and able to move. But he went out to his network that he's been building relationships with, serving all these years, and said, hey, I'm moving to Charleston, South Carolina. How can you help me? By the time he moved to Charleston, he had 300 people in his network.
Wow.
That is the power of giving back, because it'll come back in so many, and I call it a scoreboard. We can't give giving with a scoreboard. You can't, we were just talking about basketball earlier. You can't have that. It's just give and give and give. I think every time I've talked to somebody, it's come back tenfold, fivefold, twofold.
Yeah.
And the person, the 9 to 5, like Kent, like you described, maybe an opportunity comes in to get a side hustle to pay that mortgage. Maybe it's somebody at church, they build a relationship that said, hey, here's an opportunity. That's what I see when I do law of increase. That's from Think and Grow Rich. That's where I kind of built all this from. What's the opportunities I can do? Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's for 10 other people. But you said it, Kent. I feel so good. And you said it, Bill. Exhilarating. Nobody feels bad when they give.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think everybody likes to give.
Yeah.
Right. Let's look at Christmas. You know, isn't it fun to give a gift to somebody? A cool gift, maybe something they really need. Something they really want,
I can argue all day long that if you're the part-time cashier at Kohl's, people don't like to give.
Yeah.
They are not in good moods. Bill.
Kohl's will give you 20% off if you sign up for their credit card. They're giving.
They are certainly not in a good mood.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that I think that people love to make people happy. I don't care who you are, and that's a service.
We've talked about that on the show, right? Ultimately, you ask somebody what they ultimately like most about what they do, and it typically will come down to, I like that I help people.
All right, so I'm gonna play. I'll play this role because Bill, I enjoy playing this role.
So here we go.
Is this? There's and this goes to you too, Steve. There's a billion dollar industry of bumper sticker motivation and people that can self quote help, right? And yet we still struggle. How do you guys, in what you do, break that pattern for people to stop selling, right, and start serving?
Steve, you want to hit on that?
Well, yeah, it's try it. I've given people challenges. I've mentored. Said for a week, every person that you meet, give a law of increase. Tell them they look great on the show. Hey, I can connect you with this person. Hey, let me send you $10 for your charity. Whatever that law of increase giving a value is, try it. 100% of the time they come back, oh, that was awesome. I felt good. That feeling will transcend as they keep doing it. There's accountability and all that. And we, me and you, Bill, and Kent, you sound like the same type of person. Well, that's the first thing we think. But they have to work at it if they're not there yet. And that's my goal, get on the podcast and getting guests like you, Bill, and some incredible guests, hearing this over and over again. Look at this guy, Jeff Griffin, one of my guests. He took a company from 50 million to 250 million sales in 1 year. Incredible from a wheelchair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or not from a wheelchair.
That's or not. Yeah.
Right. I brought this up where, when I mentored the kids, when I do mentor some kids in high school, and I spoke in front of the big group, and I said, do yourself a favor every week, look back at the past week and say, what are the good things that happened to me? Because we tend to focus too much on, we learn from our mistakes, but we really need to get a more positive mindset and say, what good things happened to me? Mm-hmm. And they start adding up, and all of a sudden you realize, wow, there really are a lot of good things that have happened to me and continue to happen to me. And it does, I think it changes your mindset. I think you start seeing more positive things. And as you see more positive things, you develop more confidence. You're able to get more things done, take on more. I think that's all part of it. And it's part of what my new business is trying to teach, not just financial literacy, not just entrepreneurial skills, but inspiration and working with the mindset from a servant's heart.
Mhm.
which you spelled wrong anyway, by the way, there.
What did I?
Under Uncle Pete.
How did I do it?
Heart.
H. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. No, I just actually what I did is I just copied and pasted. So that's the way it was when I Googled it.
Fine.
But
Steve, so you have all these kinds of guests, and I'm sure you've got some other stories about some wonderful successes of people working through a servant's heart.
Yes, and some of the ongoing theme of my guests are somebody like you're doing, Bill, and I keep going back to Bill because you're doing such great things. Somebody come to them like Bowen Barnes, who's got 3 gold medals, 2 world records in a wheel, or he's paraplegic, water skier. Well, when he got hit by a drunk driver with a bunch of his friends, laid on the ground and goes, "Oh my God, I can't feel my legs." When I believe he was in his 20s, he's like, that's catastrophic. You think the suicide, the pity, the sympathy, and he says a story in our show that he went to the lunch table and didn't want to be around anybody because he was so pissed at the world. Somebody rolled up and in a wheelchair and said, "Nolan, you're alive. Think about that and what you can do with your life." And now he's one of the top financial advisors with Primerica. He's working with the NHL now as a consultant. And that brings to what Kent was saying. Now that's extreme, but say that was small. Somebody's working 8 to 5 at Apple here in Northern California, but they keep giving. They give to their manager. They give to their peer employees that they work with. They give to their people they meet. And somebody comes to them and says, "Hey, I want you to work with me on the side here." Because here in Northern California, it's expensive to live, and a lot of people have side hustles. Doors start opening, and then your opportunities go because it came from a positive, not that a negative aspect like people reaching out to you and say, "Hey, join my network marketing or a business. I can make you millions."
Right.
Bill, you probably have millions of stories. That's
They're
not
called
absurd.
multi-level marketing businesses.
Yes. We're not going to go there, but if people are coming from a servant heart all the way across the board, things are going to happen. Don't put a timestamp on it.
Right.
Don't think about it. Just keep serving. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. I've made mistakes. Bill, you probably, and Kent, you have.
Absolutely.
But always having that mindset again. It's all about mindset. What can I give back? Who can I connect with? The people I connect with you. As soon as I was talking to him, Bill's got to meet these people. I don't know what's going to happen.
You know, I agree with you. You attract the right people when you have this kind of a mindset. It has certainly changed my world in the last year, and the people that I have been attracted to me, or I've been attracted to them. It got me to you, and to so many other amazing people that we all know together in the H7 networking group, and from all over the world as well. If this isn't something new, folks, this is age old stuff. It's just that, like I told Steve, I said, "Where have y'all been? I've been searching for people like you my whole life. Where y'all been?" And all of a sudden, bam, there's a whole world. I was just looking in the wrong places. Probably had the wrong mindset. But it once you get into it, it's incredible. You're right. Opportunity opens up tremendously. The world opens up. People want to talk to you because they know you're there, that you want to help, and they know they come to you because they know you can help. And people should learn to ask for help. You know, we talked about that, where, you know, most people were taught growing up, keep it close to the vest, right? Don't tell anybody. Don't tell them about what your business you're building. Don't tell them this or that. And the reality is none of us can do all of the things that we need to do on our own.
Yep. We
just can't. So we need help from others. So you have to ask. And it's amazing when you start asking for help, how many people jump out. Take note. You want to get help from the people who first come to you and say, "How can I help?" Not people who come to you and say, "Here's what you need to do. Here's how to build your business." You know, and I've had that. Many people tell me how to build this business I'm building, and with my partner Deb, and they come up and try and tell us we should be doing it. And it's like, oh, you don't even know what I'm doing. And so how can you tell me? But then I meet you and the world you're in and the folks that you're in with, and every one of them, first thing they say is, how can I help? What can I do? There are a lot of stories out there, right?
Yes.
I've been hearing some stories lately. I met with a gal for lunch the other day. She was from the Philippines, and at 14 years old, she was selling candy. She said her mom was a second grade teacher. Her dad had an education equal to a second grade level and had no job, really no prospects because he didn't have the education. She felt she needed to help the family, so she started selling candy. She would make it and sell it. There's your young entrepreneur. And then she would go to her teachers and say, how can I get bigger? How can I sell more? She reached out. Now she's here in the U.S. She's been here about 8 years and doing a tremendous business consulting, small and medium-sized business owners on how to do what she learned all on her own, just by asking and reaching out. And that's one of a few stories I've learned recently.
I love that story, Bill, because the other side of it that I see is not only she asked, but those teachers served her by helping.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got paid or not, and that doesn't matter. But when she asked, somebody served her. In sales, I've done a lot of sales training. We all probably have. We always talk about find somebody's pain point or find their problem.
Yeah.
We're trying to help that problem. What are we doing? We're serving that problem. So I tell people when I do a sale, hey, I want to serve you by serving your problem. They look at me like, wow, because that's what you're doing. My service or product will serve your problem and solve it 1 month, 1 week, 1 year, whatever that is. And that's all part of the service or product you have. But that's all we're doing. That's why I say, let's talk about serving. Selling will come because we're all selling. We're selling our wives. We're selling our family. We're selling, we've talked about that. But when you come from energy of positive energy, the universe changes. I don't care what anybody says. I've heard too many stories. You have, Bill?
Yep.
Give, serve. Like I said, people have given millions, sometimes all their money, and, it comes back faster.
Well, let's talk about this sales deal because there's too much very poor sales training out there in so many different industries, and there's no cookie cutter way that everybody keeps looking for 150,000 years now. But it's you go in with a servant's mind. You're not going in there to sell necessarily your product or service. Maybe the person you're talking to says, well, but this is my main problem right now, and that's not what you do. No, but I can help you with that. That's the servant's mindset. Let me help you with the problem that's the most important to you right now to find a solution to. And you know what? Then we can talk again later. And that's where the sale really comes. That's when you're locking in a sale. It's not how many times do you meet, how many phone calls you got to make, how many people you get in front of, a numbers game. I hate it when a sales manager says it's a numbers game. It's not. It doesn't have to be. It can be if you want to do the grind, but you'll burn out.
Stress, health.
Yeah, I remember going into my first financial advising job, and the guy sits me down at this cubicle in a dark room and throws a box at me, and I open up the box, and it's old Dun and Bradstreet leads. Right. And I mean, old leads, like to the point where I made some calls and the people are like, that business owner passed away like 7 years ago. Yeah. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're making me cold call people that have passed away years ago. How is this beneficial to what we're trying to accomplish here? And of course, I had to get up and go find another place to flourish in that career. But
I'm not a big cold call guy. And if people do it, that's great. The leads, and there's lead. I get hit on every week in LinkedIn about lead generation, and that's not my thing. And what I'm learning from my guest, I asked a lot of them this question. So if XYZ is not a fit for your business, what do you do? They say, I find them somebody that will fit for them.
Yeah.
They just gave up money. Let's be very clear, very upfront. They just gave up a sale, but they're happily to do that. A lot of the time, the person will go out, think about it, or reach out to that other person and come back. I just had a guest this week say that. They came back and they decided to purchase from me anyways, and we figured out a way to make it work. Because this gentleman built a relationship with this person over a couple calls, maybe email, whatever way they communicated. He served him. He gave up the dollars, but he still got a sale.
And that positive attitude. We talked about this when I was on your show, the book, The Go-Giver.
Yeah.
You know, in that book, a certain salesman is under some high pressure and things weren't working out well. And all of a sudden he had a mind shift and he helped somebody else, a competitor. And it wound up coming back, you know, to him and him being more successful once he had changed and made that shift.
Yeah.
Great book, The Go-Giver. If you ever get a chance, it's a short story. It's not a self-help book. It's just a short story that it's incredible.
It's the mascot for my podcast. It's really what I'm talking about in my podcast. And it's such a great book. People ask me, can I learn to serve? And I say, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Be around people like me and Bill, or people that you know. I'll introduce you to 10 givers right now, 10 servants, and make you accountable if you need that. But I know it will change your life, because we know if our business grows and we're making money and serving, the personal life comes in. I had a great guest, Morris Sims, who has a podcast, but he talked about seasons, because of work-life balance. And everybody challenged, same way sales, the work-life. Everybody's got an answer for that. I don't think there is, but he has a great answer. He calls it seasons. Sometimes the season's about your life, your family, you need to take care of that, and maybe business gets put on the back burner for a day, an hour, whatever. But then that season can go to the work life where you're really needed. So now your season's in the work.
Yeah.
That's a true servant, because he's handling both sides of it the best way you can. And I just love how he said that seasons, especially if you're a sports fan. We get all seasons. That's pretty easy.
Yeah. You know, and not to be confused with seasonal, you know, 'tis the season where sales, like right now, 'tis the season for taxes.
Yeah.
You know, you get quarterly taxes. There's all kinds of seasons in that area, but I wanted to get back to the sales stuff, because think about this. Now, have you ever been in a room where somebody walks in and you feel a shift in the energy? You
Absolutely.
can just feel a person when they come into a room. I mean, it's happened to me. I've seen it.
Most people
times.
feel that when I leave a room.
That's a whole different show.
Wait, you say some?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey.
But you can feel it, and it's positive energy. You know, there are people that walk in a room, there's negative energy. I can, you know, you'll get that right off the bat too. I knew somebody who could walk in a room and kill a party. Just instantly. It's kind of like saying, let's talk about life insurance. That's how you kill a party.
Yep.
Well, I think I think what you're talking about is intentionality too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So many times we, as entrepreneurs, as salespeople, as we're talking about serving is better than selling, is I think, right, is that I take the focus of the purpose, right? And the purpose of why I'm doing business is to help others. But when I take the focus off of the purpose and change it to, I see dollar signs and I need your dollars, right? That's when I think it goes sideways, or that energy shifts, right?
So here's the thing, and this is, everybody asks me that I meet. Mm-hmm. One thing they ask me first off the bat is, are you for profit or nonprofit? Because of what I'm doing, there's people naturally think it would be a nonprofit. I said, no, I'm not doing this just because I'm this nice guy. This is a for-profit business, but what I am doing, and my purpose of doing what I'm doing, is to help at least a generation of young minds get themselves into a good position where they have hope, They have purpose. They have a drive.
Yeah.
They now see opportunity.
Yeah.
And they get excited about it. That's the purpose for me.
Yeah.
The result that I can't control is the amount of money that is made from that. I can't control how much money we would make from that or how little money we would make from that. That is a result of the efforts, right, of serving the purpose. So you need to keep those two separate. You can't be focused on the dollars, and too many people are focused on the dollars because, unfortunately, that's the number one way for us to judge another person. And having a $450,000 Lamborghini and a big house and everything doesn't make you a smart person. Doesn't make you a good person.
A $76,000 turbocharge.
Or a $76,000 turbocharge. That's different. That's different. And I know he's listening because he's dying to get on the show. And he and I haven't chatted about that yet. But that's funny because you're focused, and that's the servant's mindset, right? Is I'm focused on the purpose. I'm not focused on the money side. The money side comes if you're fulfilling the purpose.
Build it and they will come, huh?
Amen. Yeah. Amen. And it's interesting, Bill. I want and Kent, you talked about walking in a room with energy. Some people kill it and some people bring it. I love to bring it by serving. When I walk into a networking group, there's somebody new. I think law of increase. I've done this multiple times in the last few months, and people have come back to me. I want to come back to this group because you lead it. I find a way to serve them out loud to the whole group. Hey, Bill, I've got a great guy for you. You need to meet Tony Smith. He'd be a perfect connection for you. And you see the eyes light up, the energy, giving abundance, or it's not abundance, but giving, serving, which potential abundance. You do that, audience, in any room, whether it's in person or virtually, just give to somebody. And it could be, you got a beautiful dress on, Debbie. That's serving. That's throwing positive attitude towards them.
Well, and how you say it too. You have to say it with,
Yeah, exactly. Good
That's
point.
not going to work as well. But you can't just say it for the sake of saying it because, people, we all know, when I tell you, you're beautiful today, Kent,
thank you.
But I didn't really mean it.
I've got a face for radio.
Right. But it's how you say it, right? It's like, Kent, you look good today. Nice change. Right. But it's the intent. Yeah. And so here's somebody. So I get introduced to a guy. I'm looking to help somebody else out. So I'm asking others to help me so I can help this other person.
Yeah.
I get introduced to a gentleman in Israel. He just completed a $2 billion hospital project.
Yeah.
So I'm considering this guy way out of my league.
Sure.
Right. What am I doing talking to a guy like this? Right. How did I even get here? And we get on the Zoom call, and the very first thing he says to me, besides "Hi, Bill," then he goes, "You and I are going to do many things together." Like, what? I don't even know who you are, what you do.
Right.
And he says, "No, I just looked at your LinkedIn because there's a number of things on there that I know you and I can collaborate on, and we will." I'm like, I got goosebumps.
Sure.
Those are the first words to me, and I don't even know this guy, and I'm being introduced to him to get some help. And of course, he offers the help.
He didn't ask for you to wire money then at that point, did he?
Not yet. Not yet. That's the Middle East. That's not that's a different part of the Middle East there.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So as that servant leader, as building your business to serve, and you run up against the person who isn't and has no intention to be a servant and is just after me, how do you deal with those people? You know what I'm saying?
I remove them from my environment. Takers are not part of my world. Unfortunately, because that bad apple in a bushel, Kent.
Yeah,
that's what'll happen. I start introducing, and that's happened in people I've met from other people that were connected. And they go, "Oh my God, Steve, you're a blessing." This other guy oh my gosh, I introduced him to 10 of my friends, and they're like, who is this guy? Because they're H7 calls it pitch slapping. He pitch slapped them.
Yeah.
With just, hey, you need my product. You know, that we've all been there, and I've done it myself. I had to learn this myself. So I was a pitch slapper before. I've taken that out of my vocabulary, and it's just, I haven't made millions of dollars, but I call it, I've made millions of dollars of God currency.
Yeah. Trust me, millions of dollars isn't going to make it. You know what? It might give you a little bit more happiness, but we know what money really does. Money really, what it does is it makes you more of who you are. So if you are a giver, you're going to be more of a giver the more money you make, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Steve. I've learned that you have to cast those folks aside. And not only because you don't need the negativeness, but also because that's your reputation too. Who am I going to introduce to that person to help them? Yeah. Or who am I going to, bring that person to my world to help somebody in my world? There's no one, because it's going to look bad upon myself. I had that experience not too long ago. A couple of months ago, a guy introduced me to another gentleman who had some synergies with a business he was building with what I'm building. And it was kind of alongside with what I was doing. And he thought, yeah, this would be great. I can just sell my stuff on your website. But he wanted to learn more about my business to the point where he kept asking me all these questions. I said, dude, we had a 4-hour conversation where I answered all of these questions. Now you email me to answer this list again. And I said, in this list of questions basically is, you're asking me to give you the blueprint to my executive plan on how to build a business and how to build my business. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I just, it was very negative, and it got worse because he got mean, because he was upset because he's like, you're withholding information. I'm like, I'm withholding proprietary information. Yes. but dude, if you think I'm going to give that up,
the Colonel wasn't giving away those.
There's a short period. Take a nice long walk.
Yeah. All right. So what's the rate of return? All right. So here's what I'm saying. I'm a small business owner. Let's say I'm a plumber. You just go plumbing, and I'm in the service industry, and I'm serving. At what point do I get a return? You understand what I'm saying? So, So is this 2 years down the road? Is this 10 years down the road?
Well, are you planning on not doing it if you're not going to get a return?
That's what I'm asking. At what point do I go, oh man, you guys have said, I mean, what rate of return are we looking at?
So in other words, I'm only going to be nice if I get something in return.
A lot of times, right?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ken. Yeah. Great comment. I'm actually met a plumber this week in the conversation in the networking group. He said, hey, I'm here to serve my clients. And I asked him, why do you do that? He goes, because the referrals come in bushels. Mm-hmm. I do better. I charge a little less than everybody, but I make sure it's done prime. Sometimes I have to come back 4 or 5 times. I don't charge. That's serving. But that person that he's serving is going to remember him. And when somebody asks him, his client or customer, hey, who's a good plumber? Boom. And that's what's happened to me. I get emails all the time from referrals for my business, for my podcast. I've got a list of probably 50 guests I can have on my podcast today. And that will grow every week because I'm serving people. I'm taking care of them. And I'm not giving them money. I'm not buying their product, but it could be, as I talked about earlier, different introductions. But Ken, it's such a great point. It can't be a scoreboard again. You can't go ROI on serving. Bill, you're the financial guy. Hopefully I know I'm saying the right thing, because you just do it. It's just something you do. If I go to the grocery store tomorrow and that lady needs help with her groceries, I'm serving her. But I'm not expecting this lady to buy my product or give me a referral. It's throwing it out to the universe. That universe, look what I did. You don't think about it, you do it, but something will come back a week, a day, a year later. You never know what that is. And that's what's the exciting thing is. You never know what it's going to be.
Yeah, and you don't know where it's going to come from.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a tough world out there. I was in the grocery store the other day, and a little old lady, she comes walking out of the aisle, and she goes, oh, good. And she goes, can you help me? Sure, what can I do for you? She wanted something from the top shelf. She couldn't reach it. So I got her one. I said, "Do you really like these?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Then you probably want two." She goes, "Oh, that would be wonderful." And so I got her two, and then left. But for somebody to approach another person nowadays,
Right.
that's not common.
I mean, thank God. I thought you were going to say, "Well, get down on your hands and knees and let me step on your back." And
that would be not good.
Yeah, right. And that's true. There's a lot of people. Oh, break eye contact. Are you talking to me or
right?
You know what?
What do you want?
I've got my earbud in and I'm not listening to anything, but they'll think I am if I don't respond to them.
Yeah,
right.
And then it's what do you want?
Right.
Because now I got to figure out what I want in return.
Yeah.
Well, there's that old adage, right? If you do something good, you do something right for somebody, they'll go out and tell 10 people. You do something wrong against them, they'll go out and tell 100.
Yeah.
They'll tell everybody.
Yeah.
Because why the negativeness?
Yeah.
Right. We need that positive mindset that you bring to the people that are around you, and it just grows exponentially. It has for me in the last 6 months.
And we're in a point in history where, if you remember the movie, Rodney Dangerfield movie, Going Back to School or Old School or whatever, whatever it was, where
the Lindy,
the triple Lindy,
triple Lindy
is, he gave a, hey, you always got to watch out for number one and make sure you don't step in number two along the way, right? And we're at that point in history here in America, anyway, because I've never been outside of America, that I'm watching out for number one. I'm going to get mine no matter what it takes, and no matter how I have to work this. And what you guys are saying is a very foreign concept now, and
you won't get what you want with that mindset. Because really, ultimately, what you want maybe necessarily isn't money, it's happiness. And you won't get it with that mindset.
And COVID showed us that. How many people we were isolated in our homes. My wife works at Trader Joe's, and she had people 2 years later come in, and they've never left their home for 2 years. They finally left. Their life was a mess. They weren't connecting. They weren't networking. They weren't serving. You take the servant mentality away from somebody, it's going to shrivel them. And that's what COVID did. I think that's a big part of what the problem with COVID and isolation. To be human is to serve. The worst person in the world, somewhere in their soul, there's good. It just doesn't come out. And Kent, you made a good point. The world is tilting to the negative. That's my goal. And now, Bill, jumping on you, Kent, let's change that, tilt it back to the positive, to we're not afraid to walk up to somebody and help them like you did. Or, I went to a grocery store. I'll tell a story 2 years ago, but I left my work early, went to a grocery store, and a spirit came to me or message that, hey, buy this lady's groceries. I've told this story hundreds of times. And I gave the clerk, who was about 21, my card. He's like, dude, what are you doing? You're crazy. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I gave him the card. It was, I don't know what the price was, but I paid for her groceries. I paid for mine. I walked out. She gives me a hug and she starts crying. She says, thank you. You didn't have to do that. So why are you crying, Debbie? She had a baby in her arms, and I didn't even think about that. I just did it. She goes, Steve, my husband lost his job last week. I didn't know how we were going to pay for groceries.
Yeah.
But it's not me what I did serving. What serving also does is to pay it forward. So Debbie's going to go home with her baby, talk to her husband, and go, hey, this guy Steve bought a girl. I don't know who he is. He came out of nowhere. What are they going to think and do? They're probably going to pay it forward somehow, some way.
They're going to certainly have a mindset that there's good people out there and that there's hope.
Yep.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Turn that hope into purpose, and you really got a machine going.
Well, the other, in the last the back end of the show too, is that, guys, you guys make it seem real easy. Now, Bill, you were in the pits for 30 years.
20 years, yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Right?
Felt like 30.
That isn't all about serving.
Well, it is serving thyself quite heavily, yes.
So I'm in my early 50s, not quite mid 50s yet, early 50s. And there's a lot of wisdom that's we got some silver, some silver in our hair. Now have some, because I can tell you, I worked and attacked differently in my 20s as a door-to-door insurance salesman than I would today, right? So to hit the people that are out there calling you guys this concept bunch of crap, right? How at what point does it change, or how does it change? Or
let me tell you something. In the trading pits, the world, you're probably never going to see larger egos in the world,
right?
You're not going to see more type quadruple A type people, but that's in the pit. All right, that bell rings at 3:00 or whatever. That bell rings for that trading to stop for that day. Those people, so many of them were servants. They were givers. They were generous. Yes, did we fight, spit, punch, stab, kick, stomp on each other all day long? Yeah, but when the bell rang, it's like, hey, want to go play golf? Hey, let's go over to this charity, or let's go out here. I mean, the Mercantile Exchange was surrounded by homeless people looking for money. That was a racket. But so you can, it's not just one or the other. You
keep going.
You got to be you, right? But and you got to do what you got to do sometimes. But it doesn't mean you stop being a servant altogether. Doesn't mean that you're not wired that way all the time. As a pit trader, and maybe he's an asshole. Okay, and there were a few of those of the 1,500 people that were in the trading pit I was in. But what do you think, Steve? I mean,
well, I agree with you. It's be in front of an environment, a culture, which is what I'm building in my podcast. I could tell you, somebody that has that attitude and walks into a virtual networking group or a chamber event or church or any birthday party, and it's a very serving, happy, people are going to gravitate towards that. The majority is where people are going to go. If not, they're going to leave. But surround yourself, like I've done with Bill, and Bill's now doing with me, with these people with a servant mentality. They're thinking of law of increase. How can I bring value, whatever that may be? You will eventually change, because I did. I mean, I remember 3 years ago, I met a guy, a very big guy, jumped on a Zoom call, and I started selling him. And he said, very politely, he said, "See, stop. You're selling me." I'm like, "Oh, wow." He says, I don't know nothing about you, but I know all about your product, but how do I know I'm going to buy from you? So that day on, I literally got off that call, and I was so down. I hit a huge black hole. I'm like, I'm not doing this right. And something hit me in my days that I told you about by my health club. Like, why didn't I just do that? Let's build. And I reached out to him again. And I said, apologize. We jumped on and built a relationship. So again, like my shows, that one person that can mentor you and say one thing, or a 5-minute conversation can change your life and turn you into a server, into a servant's heart. Yeah.
Well, your guys, and this is what I'm catching from you guys today, is it's not about your job. It's not about your profession or the business that you own. To increase, is your life. So your guys' examples, a lot of your examples have come outside of the business world, and that's where
because the opportunities came not from the business world.
Yeah.
They came from the servants world. So Kent, you've known me for many years.
Yep.
Right. And a year and a half ago, I was a retirement strategist.
Yep.
That's what I call myself. Fancy name for financial advisor. Okay. Maybe not so fancy, but but that's what I was.
Yeah.
And I wasn't necessarily all that happy.
Right.
So 3 years ago, I started doing this radio show and trying to help people understand how difficult and the challenges it is to build your own business, go from concept to success. But in the last year and 3 months, how much has my world changed in your eyes?
Yeah, complete 360, really.
360 all the way around.
Yeah.
Back to where I was.
No, I mean, no. The reason why is I think you were headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you were always kind of heading in the right direction. If you do a 180, now you're going in the wrong direction.
Well,
So
good point.
I think, yeah, I think that, there's that aha moment. That's why I say a complete 360, because, it's come full circle to say, all right, you were in the right direction. There was just some pieces. That
I run into people I haven't seen in more than a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I just ran into an old trader friend from the pits I haven't seen in 15 years down at the Cubs game. And he came running up to me. How you doing? He's like, oh, man, because you look great. What's going on? And I said, I got a lot of really great things going on. I'd love to get together with you. I'd love to talk with you. And stuff. But he's like, he goes, no, you're different.
Yeah.
There's a big change in you from when I knew you before.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I am just filled with drive right now.
So yesterday, I was in a meeting with McHenry County College, and it's fun stuff, and they're looking at building a new athletic facility, multi-million-dollar athletic facility.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not an alumni. I've had a couple kids go there or whatnot, and they invited me in because of just the servant mentality. And they're going through a list of individuals who could be quote unquote donors for this. And as they're doing it, I'm like, oh, do you know about his wife? Well, no, what about, and I left there with such incredible energy,
mm-hmm.
because I've got no horses in this game, but they've asked me to help, and I want to help. And I've got, it's not going to be the Kent Jones Memorial Gymnasium, right? I don't have $20 million to give them or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there with high-level people of this college, feeling blessed that they wanted me to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And what am I getting out of this? Nothing. I'm basically becoming a fundraiser for them, or a fund.
Right.
I'm raising funds for them or connecting. But the bottom line is, that's what serving is. Now people who are involved there will see me and go, oh, you're that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got that radio station. Oh, you do those mortgages, whatever the case may be. But again, that's not what I'm in there for.
Right.
Right. And that exchange of energy was infectious.
Mm-hmm.
because they felt my energy of wanting to serve them. And to your point, if you don't know what hope is, that's where you start seeing it on these people's faces.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe we, and
didn't think of that.
Right. And so to me, that's, if you want to serve instead of sell, it's not in your 8 to 5, or what I'm saying. It's not when you have on your team jersey. It's when you're being your
Bill Bondsman.
It's when you're being your authentic self. Right.
Right. And there's a good point too.
Yeah.
Being your authentic self, and it goes back to the exhilaration that I was talking about that you feel.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more easy to feel that, the more exhilarating it gets, to the point where it's almost like it is who you are.
Yeah.
Serving muscle. I tell people, build your serving muscle. You have to, because I used to run fitness, you got to do it. Kenton, that's a great story. You just got to do it as much as you can. Like I said, I tell people, try it for a week, for a few days. Just everybody you meet, give them some all, and build it. Yeah, because the exhilaration you said, the energy you get, it's better than any drug in the world.
It really is.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Any? Yeah.
I gotta watch what I say on the public radio.
This is internet radio. You can say anything you want.
Go. Okay, we're wide open now.
We're wide open. But no, because it's I don't want to tell that story.
Yeah, no. But so I think I think that's the beauty of what I'm getting from you guys today is that it's not about, yes, you can't be a sucker all the time in your business. You gotta exchange money for your services or whatever, right? And you have to ask for that, um, but it's outside when you take that Superman costume off or that Wonder Woman costume off, and you're going to get groceries. People look at you and they go, "Oh my gosh, that was an incredible guy." It's an incredible woman. That's amazing what they did there. And it's not fake, and it's you can feel that fakeness from people.
Well, don't you want to do business with somebody that
yeah,
is looking after your best interests?
yeah, you really do.
I mean, it like the plumber you talked about, Steve. It's about how he went about his business. It wasn't that he was a plumber.
Right,
It wasn't that he was the cheapest guy that I could find. It wasn't that I just
Right.
found him for the Better Business Bureau, or it was that guy. I want that plumber.
Yeah.
Because I know he has my best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's who I want to work with, and that's who I want to surround
Yeah,
myself
that's
with.
amazing. Yeah.
And this is, and it's contagious. It is contagious. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yeah, I think that's it. And it takes time, right? It takes time and effort, and it kind of all popped into us a little bit later in life, even though we knew the concept. I'm sure, just being good Christian men, and then just
Amen.
being but then it's like, oh, that light goes on, as you said, Steve, right?
Well, you
asked, it's spontaneous too. It's not. You were talking about your executive plan with that story you were telling us. You don't build a serving executive business plan. I don't have a business plan sitting here going,
right,
okay, I'm meeting with this guy today, this guy tomorrow, this lady this day, and okay, this is how I'm going to serve them. As you're talking, like I've got ways to serve this 216 network, this creator studio. I've got people I'm thinking of. It just comes to you as you have that servant mindset.
Yeah.
And that's
it
the
is
power of
learned.
it.
It is learned,
learned.
though.
Yep.
This isn't like you had asked. How do you get there? Step by step.
Yeah.
Inch by inch. And the people, all of a sudden you build it, they will come. And like I said, in the last year, I've been incredibly blessed to meet so many amazing people, and more and more and more each week going forward. I told Steve, he said, how can I help you? I said, I'm not really, all I look for maybe are some just quality guests to bring on the show, to help make those who can listen in live a better life. And it just, and you introduced me to 3 or 4 people, and bam, bam, bam. Like you said, you've got 50 people lined up, and for me, I'm a little different. I like to look at, I like to hold off.
Yeah.
I don't like to book out. I like to because I'm meeting so many amazing people each week. And like Steve, you and I met last week, 2 weeks ago. Got to get on a show. We had a technical difficulty last week, so we got to do it this week. But it's
and that's a servant story, Bill. I mean, I could have been. Here's what some people think. Oh my God, I had it all scheduled for last Friday. I canceled the appointment. I mean, this is just me. I did okay, it's canceled. Oh my God. I could have met these 3 people. But you know what? It's serving you. You want me on your show. Of course, it's serving me too. But thinking that way, things happen in life. Move on. It's okay. Don't look back. Because I had one person reach out to me and go, you can still do the show? I said, absolutely. Well, they canceled on you. Well, they had an emergency and things happen. But isn't your time valuable? It is. But also my time on the show is going to be valuable serving them. Serving time, and not that serving time, is so powerful because, again, it brings exhilaration. I love that word, exhilaration, the energy. So I just want to share that. That's how I think. Even when somebody misses an appointment and they reach out to me, go, oh my God, something happened. No, let's reschedule. Oh my God, thank you. I'll be so worried you're going to be upset. Why?
Yeah.
Serving.
Yeah. That's
outstanding stuff. It's already been an hour.
Wow.
Flies by. I love it. Steve, just let everybody know again the name of your podcast, where they can find your podcast, and when it. Do you ever do live, or is it you record, edit, and then put it out there?
It's record, edit, and put it up, and it's Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. You'll find me on YouTube. I saw you put the link on there. Subscribe. All the Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the different podcast platforms. Yeah, just listen to the stories. If you want to build your serving muscle, listen to these stories, how people are serving. Again, if you're not inspired, motivated, and educated, I'd be shocked.
I love it.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it. Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely love what you're doing. We'll have a little conversation off microphone because I'd like to dig a little deeper with you. But truly blessed to have you with us today. And hey, if you're not listening to 21.6 the Net, go out and find Doing Business with a Servant's Heart, because if you want to increase your business, it's probably one of the best ways to do it.
And live a happier life.
Amen.
Absolutely. Steve, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I appreciate it. I appreciate your understanding and patience. And I'm just very happy and blessed to know you.
Thank you both. This has been just one of the best shows I've been on.
Glad to have you, brother, and we'll hook up and talk about our studio. We'd love to have you here.
Yeah.
All right, yes.
Thanks to everybody listening in today. Really, truly appreciate it, and hope you got something out of it. And please reach out with any questions and any needs.
Happy Easter and happy Passover.
Happy Easter, happy Passover.
Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Good Friday.
Let's go watch the Masters.
There we go.
There you go.